Picture this, two guys trapped in the South Charleston Public Library. One guy loves movies, the other, well, he'd rather be watching reality TV. Can they survive each other's films? Find out on Real Opposites, a library podcast about movies. Hosted by Josh and Aaron from the South Charleston Public Library.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Real Opposites. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Josh.
And we're back this week to discuss the movies we chose last time. I chose Cocaine Bear, and Josh chose...
An American Werewolf in London.
Yes. So I guess we're going to start with Cocaine Bear?
I suppose.
I mean, we can start with the other one if you prefer.
I remember you went to go see Cocaine Bear in theaters, right?
I did. Yeah, I went with a couple friends. They did not like it. I laughed all the way through it. I like the comedy horror genre.
Yeah, me too.
Which I think that's what this falls under somewhat. Although I watched it on Peacock, they list it as a thriller. I don't know that it's that either. But anyways, yeah, I just thought it was hilarious. I don't know. And I watched even through the second time, like I just laughed so much. I don't know that there's like a deep reason why I like it other than I just think it's hilarious.
Can I get your friends' numbers? Because I think I want to hang out with them.
So I'm taking it you didn't like it.
No, I hated it.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
it was, words escape me. It didn't know what it wanted to be. It wasn't clever. It had no forward momentum. I didn't care about anyone. It just seemed mean and unnecessary. And it's an outlandish story, but it was told so in such a flat manner. Mm-hmm. You know, imagine if someone like Sam Raimi or I don't know, someone like him had made the movie, who made the Evil Dead movies and the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans and Darkman and stuff. If he had made something like this, it would have been would have really popped off the screen, would have been really funny and outlandish, But it's Elizabeth Banks who directed it, and I like the Pitch Perfect movie, the first one. I think she directed that one.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, even her Charlie's Angels wasn't that terrible. But the one with Kristen Stewart and
I haven't seen that.
Patrick Stewart and all the Stewarts.
I forgot all about it. Are they all related?
No.
Oh.
But this was just really, really, really boring.
Wow.
I didn't laugh. I mean, I maybe laughed once, and that was at the cop, Isaiah Whitlock, the detective, the little dog. His little thing with the dog. Something I don't even remember exactly what it was. It was something at the end with the dog. That made me laugh.
When he's dying.
When he's dying, yeah.
So you said you didn't care about any, not even the detective?
No, he's maybe the only one that was got a little bit of whatever.
I think he was the only one that was supposed to be kind of heartbreaking when he dies.
I mean, it wasn't heartbreaking. It was pretty.
Oh, I was so sad.
But it was something with the dog. I don't remember what it was. It's been a couple weeks since I watched it, but it was. And that's why I chose American Werewolf, because they're both technically horror comedies.
Right.
Both creature features.
Yeah.
Except one is exceptionally well made and funny and well written, and I care about the characters. When things happen to them, it can be painful to watch, and it's emotional. But it's also funny, and none of that is in Cocaine Bear. It doesn't know.
Oh, go ahead.
It just doesn't know what it wants to be. And the horror comedy is a difficult line to straddle. There's Evil Dead 2, Shaun of the Dead, Young Frankenstein. That's not really horror. I mean, it's horror technically, but it's just a difficult thing to really pull off well. Mm-hmm. And if you can't do it well, you probably shouldn't try.
See, I loved it. So you didn't even find the little boy funny? I think he's one of the funniest parts.
Which one? The one that climbs up the tree and stuff?
The one that does cocaine.
Sweet Tooth.
Oh, no.
Sweet Tooth.
What? He was hilarious.
No, he's not.
His name, I think he's adorable. His name's Christian Convery.
I mean, he's a cute kid.
And I think he does a good job. He's young.
Henry, yeah.
But he's also in Sweet Tooth, and he's the main character in Sweet Tooth.
Oh, I was wondering why you said Sweet Tooth. I was like, I don't remember that in the movie.
Sweet Tooth is a show about children who are born like with the characteristics of animals, and then like a plague.
Oh yeah, it just got canceled.
Yeah, a plague kills everybody.
I've never seen it. I just know it got canceled.
Anyway, it's really cute, and he's the lead in that, and I think he does a really good job. But
I thought he was funny in this movie. I don't know. For me, it's so hard to. I mean, you also hated Tammy, but it's so hard for me to think about this movie and not and see how it's not funny from other people's perspective. Like I said, my friends weren't a big fan of it either. I wanted to go see it a second time in theater, and none of them would go a second time.
Well, I don't blame you.
I would have gone. I thoroughly enjoyed it for what it was, which is a super black comedy that isn't really trying to say anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to say anything. It just has to be funny.
I thought it was funny.
I thought it was hilarious.
I thought it was
Just like-
funny.
I mean, like
to me, like humor needs to come out of characters, like character development.
I
It
thought
needs
it
to come out of
did.
like quirky things about them.
Yeah.
I don't like the dog thing was like the only mildly amusing thing in the movie.
Well, I think then you have, so in my eyes, you have the park ranger
Yeah.
who is like trying to be this tough person, but is trying to like impress the inspector or whatever.
Jesse Tyler Ferguson.
I guess.
The one
The
from
one that
Modern
gets
Family.
Mitch from
eaten in the tree.
or
Yeah, but, I mean, a lot of it's just so like telegraphed. Like, oh yeah, I know he's gonna die.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
they're gonna
most
get
of them are
eaten.
going to.
I know, but there's no.
What about when she
comedy
falls out of
still-
the ambulance?
Well, I mean, a comedy like this still needs to be like. There still needs to be a certain element, especially like a creature feature, a certain element of like suspense and and danger and like Lake Placid is a great example.
Lake Placid
horror
is great.
comedy.
I need to go back and watch that. I haven't watched that in a
It
long
is
time.
so funny. It's
I
like
love it,
it's
though.
the exact movie a Cocaine Bear wants to be.
Okay.
Like I still feel like I like these characters. They're quirky enough and they have enough eccentricities. All the Oliver Platt character, like the rich dude that comes in and is trying to kill. Well, it's been a while since you've seen it, but anyway.
Oh, Lake Placid. Yeah. I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
there's enough quirkies, there's enough character dynamics that I can get invested in it, but it's also really funny, like Betty White's feeding cows to the alligator,
Yeah.
stuff like that. It just has a very charming, quirky sensibility, but this I felt like it's trying to be like some semi-serious movie about like the Ray Liotta character and his son and stuff. Like they're just trying to get the cocaine, and it kind of reminded me of like there's this movie called American Made, which is based on a true story with Tom Cruise, where they're like smuggling cocaine in and out of South America. I think he's like a pilot. That movie is actually it's like suspenseful but also funny.
Right.
I feel like that kind of tone is what this one should have been, but mixed with like a little bit of like Placid, something like that.
Yeah.
But none of it just really
I feel like
worked for me.
I feel in my opinion, I feel like it's kind of like Toby said. It's a movie that did exactly what it was trying to do. I don't know that it was trying to be this elevated
Well, it's
comedy or anything. I don't know. I mean, I guess it hit. Maybe nobody else in the world likes it, but it definitely hit a chord with me because, I mean, I would definitely watch it again today. Like
Well,
I absolutely love
it
Cocaine
needs to try
Bear.
to be something.
I don't know.
It was great for me.
I think it worked. It worked for me too. Like I thought it was funny.
I absolutely loved it.
Again, like humor is incredibly subjective. So
Well, yeah,
if
for
it set
sure.
out to be funny, I feel like Elizabeth Banks, a lot of her stuff is super weird. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's like a weird, like it's off. It is off of normal for funny. Like it's just, and I think it worked for me.
What kind of comedy would you say it? I mean, is it like dry humor? Is it?
It's a black comedy.
I don't know what that means.
It's like super
Dark humor.
Super dark humor.
Oh, that's probably why
I mean, I
loved
don't
it.
even think it's like. I mean,
I love dark humor.
Cocaine Bear is definitely a black
I
comedy.
mean, I like
That's
a dark
definitely what
comedy,
Side could
but
be.
like,
yeah.
I don't think it was anything was like. There's no setup. There's no setup or punchline. It's just like here's a joke. It's like knock knock jokes or something. Like that's what the whole movie was. It's like this is a very obvious outcome for this. I guess it was supposed to be a joke. Like,
I don't know. I can't see it from your point of view. I'm trying, but then I just see parts and I just start laughing.
It's like the idea of it is really ridiculous and should be very funny.
Yeah.
But there's no stylistic flourishes or interesting character. Like I don't know who. I don't care about anybody in the movie. Everyone was just there to be eaten. And it's like Jaws. It's like there's funny parts in Jaws. It's a horror. It's a straight horror movie, but like I care about Brody and Quint And
Well, yeah, but I feel like that's totally a different spectrum.
yeah, because that's a good movie.
No, because it's a horror movie. It's not
I know
a horror
it's
comedy.
it's a horror. Well, a horror movie.
I
needs
feel
to,
like all horror has comedy.
I mean, yeah, there's going to be little.
There has to
every
be.
movie should have. I mean, Schindler's List has jokes.
Right.
So I mean, every movie should have. There's
It's
no
that roller coaster you were talking
yes,
about before.
exactly. And it's like a horror comedy should still be a horror movie. It just happens to be a little bit funnier.
Yeah.
You know, or if you're swinging towards the comedy, then the horror needs to hit harder. You know what I mean? They have to
Right.
be balanced, and it's a really hard balance. And this one doesn't get either one right.
What We Do in the Shadows is a dark comedy or like a black comedy. Have you seen that?
No.
You should watch that. You would like that.
Yeah, you would.
I know. I've been told that. I think.
Don't Look Up if you've seen that.
Nope, not seen that.
Bodies, Bodies, Bodies is considered to be a black comedy because
Don't Look Up, the Leo movie.
Yeah.
No, that was fantastic. I love that movie.
Check it out then.
Yeah, it's really great. I watched it.
I do.
I watched it 2 or 3 times actually.
And the other one that I really like, and I think you like that one, Dell and Tucker versus Evil.
Tucker
Yes.
Dale- yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
That's the exact kind of movie this should have been. It's ridiculous.
See, to me, it made me laugh just as
but
much.
that movie is like I care about Tucker and Dale. I even care about a couple of the kids that are coming to the cabin because you
See,
have the one like douchebag jock dude
Yeah.
who you know is going to die, and it's like you're just waiting for it.
Right.
And you kind of like the other characters, and it's kind of sweet because like the relationship between the more heavyset guy and the girl,
Yeah.
Krista Bowden or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I care about those, but it's also like super funny,
Yeah.
and it knows the genre it's working in. I don't know that Cocaine Bear knows what genre it's working in.
Okay.
It just is. It's not hitting either one of those.
Well, maybe they made it for non-movie watchers like me because to me it was as funny. It had. I mean, I cared about the characters.
Why?
I don't know because there were sweet little stories about them.
Why? What?
Okay, you have the detective. He was probably the most one you
That's
would
just
care
because he's
for.
a really good actor. I like him a lot.
He is good. But you have his little dog situation where he
Yeah.
wanted a different dog and then he gets turned on in the movie by his
Yeah.
partner or whatever. I don't know. And
I
then
think-
even like the skinny guy that tries to attack in the bathroom
Oh
that
yeah.
ends up the blonde that ends up going with him.
Yeah.
Like you can tell his character's like an idiot, but he's also like really caring about these. He's like trying to help them, although he's
Well, I think
don't
that's
know. I care about the
the
characters.
trouble is it's not focused enough on anything. If it had been focused on the detective and the dog,
yeah.
or on just a couple other characters, but it tries to have so many characters
Mm-hmm.
that it loses focus, and I just don't care about any of them.
See, I like that though. I like a lot of characters, a lot of stories, and how they intertwine. Which I mean, basically, they intertwine because a bear is trying to eat them all. But
Well, I mean,
no, the bear's
know.
trying to get cocaine. They just are in the way.
that's true. Now we do have to remember that I don't like super touching things. Like I'd rather not.
I'm not
be
saying
like
it has
super
to be like
touched by
terms
a
of
movie.
endearment. It needs.
Right.
I need something like in Shaun of the Dead. Like I care about Sean and
Well, yeah.
and Nick Frost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that third relationship is something that I'm latching onto. And like the closest it comes is the guy and the dog.
What
And-
about the?
I thought the kids were believable
Yeah.
I mean,
Like-
believable is something that's.
but
and endearing in their own way. I was a little bit shocked they went there, but totally buy 2 10-year-olds in the woods finding cocaine and then talking about how they've done it before and then almost killing themselves. Like there was a real moment of worry there where they were like, I think you eat it. And she scoops out fully like 2 or 3 tablespoons of like cocaine and then immediately spits it back out.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, they're going to kill children by drug overdose. Like, I don't know where they're going in
they
this
spit it out.
movie.
It's fine.
But I felt like their little interactions were very real and touching and like,
Or like the interactions between the drug guys. I
Ray
forget their
Liotta
names.
and
No, the ones that were on the mission to find
like
the
O'Shea
cocaine.
Jackson and Alden Enric.
Yeah, the ones that were going to find the cocaine. Like even their relationship, I thought was kind of interesting.
yeah, the
and
guy
pulled
who's
you in a
getting
little
out
bit.
is getting like kind of pulled in by his dad.
Right.
And kind of you have this bad father-son relationship. I thought there were things to care about.
Yeah.
And I thought it was competently
But
okay.
but I think that goes back to I don't need it to be very deep though. For me, surface level caring is plenty.
Okay.
So like I think this movie did a good job of that because I think that's all it was trying to do. I don't know that it was trying to be super deep.
It doesn't have to be super deep. I just am not. I just didn't get pulled into it.
Right. No, and I get that. And that's what I'm saying. I think it's very, I agree with you in the fact that it is surface level as far as getting you to care for the characters. I think for me, that's all I need to be pulled in. So I think that's where it differs. But you did touch on the whole true story aspect of it.
Yeah.
Which the actual true story, there was a drug dealer that dropped cocaine on a mountain. There was a bear that ate it. That's the end of the true story. So none of the other stuff happened. There's no record of anybody dying because of the cocaine bear. All they did is they found the bear dead.
Yeah, it ate $20 million worth of cocaine.
Yeah. And
That's a lot of cocaine.
the bear in the movie was a girl. The actual bear was a guy, a male bear. And you can go to, I'd have to look it up real quick, but you can go to Kentucky and see the actual cocaine bear. It's stuffed. And it's went to different places. I forget, some star owned it for a bit.
Skynet, take me now. That's where we're at.
I don't even know what that is.
My favorite thing in the movie is when the little boy goes, they look like polar bears.
Oh,
Of,
with
like,
the babies because they're
But
covered.
you're not alone. I mean, Cocaine Bear has a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes and an audience score of 71%. And on IMDb, it's a 6 out of 10, which is pretty good for a genre film. Obviously, lots of people found it
Okay.
palatable and funny. Like,
No, that's fine. I mean, people like terrible movies. So
that's
it's fine.
true. I don't think it's a terrible movie.
I like this bit of trivia. Cocaine Bear was intended to be a temporary working title. The producers decided to release it under that name as they couldn't think of anything better. And I kind of feel like that sums up the movie. We couldn't think of anything better.
I mean, what else
Enjoy
would
this-
you call
enjoy
it?
this thing.
Bear on the mountain?
I don't know.
Attack bear?
Cocaine. Yeah.
Kind of.
I love the name Cocaine Bear. I don't know. But,
I mean, like, Cocaine Bear gives me a different movie that I got with this one.
oh, okay.
Like, I want it to be really silly, and this was not silly enough. It wasn't silly enough, and it wasn't serious enough, and it wasn't funny enough for what it was trying to be.
Yeah.
This was Ray Liotta's last film.
It
That's
was.
so sad.
It was his
And-
last film he did before he died,
Yeah.
which they dedicate the movie to him.
Yeah, I know. That was a running joke the whole weekend after we watched this. Was every time another movie went off, we just went for Ray.
Mm.
On the, like at the end, because
It's a little morbid.
that's
but
a
all right.
lot of like I don't know. It's not a great film to end your career on. I'll give it that.
No,
Like,
that's sad.
I don't
It's a
know. I
little
kind of
bit
loved it. So you can go to Lexington, Kentucky at the Kentucky Fun Mall. That's where the stuffed cocaine bear is, and it is said to have once been owned by Waylon Jennings, and he kept it in his house in Las Vegas. So I'm going to have to take a trip and see the real cocaine bear.
And her, like, so Elizabeth Banks is talking about her approach to the man versus nature theme in the movie, which is just completely
That seems
like,
real deep.
I don't know what she is smoking.
That seems deeper than I
I don't
thought.
know what she's on. Like, she made Cocaine Bear. Like, calm down. None of this is in the movie anyway. So she's like, you think you understand who the villain is in the movie, and then at a certain point, we tip the scales, and you start to realize, oh, the bear didn't do anything wrong. The bear is innocent. It just wants more cocaine. I mean, it's being fed by the bad guys. And
I feel like that was
says-
obvious.
Yeah. To me, that was the theme of the movie that I wanted to explore. Man's hubris when it comes to nature. Like, what is... You made this dumb movie. Stop acting.
Listen.
That's what I mean. Like, she wants it to be more than it is.
I will say, I think it was a great movie. I will also say that I don't know what she's on about.
No, because it's
that.
like... and that's what I mean is, like, I don't think she was the right person to make this movie.
Maybe.
I think, like I said, like a Sam Raimi or... Well, honestly, a John Landis would have been really good back in the day for something like this. And it would have felt like the characters would have felt grounded and like I would have cared.
Yeah.
not the bear, but the gore effects were pretty good. I think,
Yeah, I mean, it's
in the
just
movie.
gore, though.
They're well done. I think they're well done. Like
I mean,
the
they're
prosthetic
technically-
leg is really like as a good. I think it's a technically competent film.
I think a lot of the like graphic type stuff, the gore or the bear itself, almost looked a little fake,
The bear,
like the bear
The
did.
bear
the
looks
bear
really
did.
fake.
The bear
But I
looked
feel
super
like
fake.
that added to the comedy for me. Like that
But
was
it's-
honestly that was a part because my
Yeah.
Honestly, it would have been really great if it would have just been someone like stoned out of their mind, and then they see it just kind of like a Yogi Bear type cartoon.
that would be funny too.
Um,
But just like, and then the guy that gets like eaten in the tree when he falls, like it's just so outlandish. Or when Ray Liotta gets kicked off the mountain,
But it's
they look outlandish, and I like that they do. Like it doesn't look realistic, but I like that about it. I thought it was hilarious. That's one of the things I talked with my friends about afterwards because they were like, I mean, everything looked fake, and I was like, that to me.
I mean, it's a movie.
Cool.
It shouldn't look real.
Right, but I feel like it was extra fake.
Yeah. But also,
And I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but to me, it felt like it was on purpose, and I thought that was hilarious.
I mean, I think like they generally looked pretty as realistic as you could probably get, I guess.
I mean, as far as like the gore and
effects,
stuff, yes.
But but again, that's the thing. Like, it needed to be even more ridiculous,
Yeah.
I think.
So if you had to pick like a favorite part,
It's
I
the
mean,
dog,
is it
whatever.
just when he's dying
When
and
his
picturing
dog-
himself with the dog?
Yeah. Because the dog's cute and their little relationship's funny. I always find that kind of stuff funny. Like,
It
big,
was
tough guy
funny.
with a little dog.
Yeah, it was funny. He's a great actor.
But like
I
that
don't
part
know.
where you're talking about where like the body falls off the tree and it's like,
Mhm.
I was just like, in 3, 2, 1.
Right.
That's the whole thing. Is like I know everything that's gonna come, and it's just kind of
Yeah. Well, I feel like
like I'm just gonna
that
watch.
would be obvious. If somebody's getting eaten in a tree, the body's probably going to fall out.
I know, but I mean the way they stage it is
Yeah. What about the horse ranger or whatever when she's back at the building with the teenagers or whatever?
yeah. And she shoots him, and
Yeah.
that's not funny. Like it's like
I found it hilarious when she's like, "Hey,
it's not-
he's out there. Open the door. I'm going to shoot it." And then
this is a like it's not played for a laugh.
it totally was meant to be a joke.
no, I think
I
it,
didn't see it that.
Yeah,
yeah,
that
I
was
think
meant to be a
100%.
joke. That's why she sets it up being like, yeah, well, they said I'm not good enough for like the force
Right.
beforehand. And
she sets
stuff,
it
and, like,
up in
she
the
sets
beginning of
it
the
up.
movie that she could be this great park ranger, and then they talk about the gun and why she has one, and then she tries to shoot the bear in the woods. She's horrible at that, gets attacked. She comes here, she tries to shoot the bear again, shoots the guy in the head. Like
Yeah.
for me, it was totally set up.
Yeah, that was definitely played for a laugh.
I don't know, but that's me.
Well, it needs to be shot. I was played for a laugh or something. It didn't play.
I found it hilarious.
I mean, maybe, I think it played. Like I saw. See, like you were. It's like I saw that coming because they had already. I thought they'd done a really good job saying. I was
Setting
like,
it
oh, she's gonna shoot him.
Right.
Like inevitably, yeah.
The other thing, this is just something random that I thought had happened, but I noticed it when I watched it again, and I thought was kind of funny. I don't know that it was meant to be funny, but when the EMTs come and the one is opening the door where the bear is, and he sees the other person dead, I found it so funny that a bear supposedly ate that person, but its head was in a bucket for some reason. I don't know. For some reason, that was weird, and I don't know why it would be like that, and that made me laugh a little bit. Because the bucket tips over and the head just rolls out.
I think my big problem is if I'm going to see people mauled to death by a bear or shooting each other, I either want it to be really invested in it or very funny. I don't feel this did either one.
You don't
That's
think it went
sad.
far
So it just
enough.
left me in limbo. Like, I
So
don't know.
sad. I was really hoping you'd like this one. Because I think you wanted to see it, right? At one
I mean,
point.
just the premise looked.
Right.
I remember seeing the trailer like this was really dumb,
Oh.
but it could be fun if it was,
Yeah.
made like competently made. But,
So you just want this, but maybe by Sam Raimi.
or somewhat. I just wanted more flourishes,
More out of it.
more confidence in knowing what it is,
Mm-hmm.
and more decisive tone shifts. Because it doesn't like you can have a horror comedy and it can go like really hard into horror and then swing really, really hard into comedy like
Right.
within a few seconds. But this one didn't really do anything. It's just kind of flat the whole way. And I didn't feel like it was trying to be a really good horror movie or like a funny, like it was just kind of, it just didn't.
See, I thought it just leaned more into the comedy.
I don't think it was
me.
supposed to actually scare you. Like I don't think there was.
It should be suspenseful.
I
though.
don't think they intended that though. I think their intent was for it to.
Well, they
be,
should have made the
like-
movie.
Yeah, like I don't think that was.
If you're not
the
going to
intention.
intend to make a creature movie and not make it suspenseful, then don't make the movie.
Yeah.
I just thought it was more a comedy than anything.
Yeah.
With a little bit of horror because it's a bear eating people. But
Like I think it. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
thought
it
it was
definitely made
fine.
me not want to ever be lost in the woods with a bear on cocaine.
That was the one moment of suspense
What was
at
that?
the beginning with the two people who just spot the bear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I was like,
Olaf and Elsa
Oh yeah,
are
I don't
their
want to
names.
go. I was thinking that was the only point in the movie. I was like, oh, because like I could just imagine being there,
Yeah.
like, hiking in the woods, and then oh wow,
All of a
it's a
sudden.
large black bear.
Right.
That's Tormund Giant's
Yeah.
Bane.
Did you say the
And-
names were Olaf and Elsa?
Yeah, their names are Olaf and Elsa.
I know, right?
It's a Frozen reference. Christopher Heavju is the redheaded guy. He's in this and Game of Thrones and
Oh yeah, that
and
dude.
the Thing remake.
Yeah, like
He's really good and stuff. But he's the redheaded hiker.
yeah.
That,
like him.
From the
that
beginning.
Wife gets eaten. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I thought
that's actually okay. I'll give it that. That little sequence was actually pretty good. That's kind of the more suspense that I was, or horror element that I was hoping for the rest of the movie,
right.
and I just didn't get any of that for the rest of the movie. I didn't feel like because it's not.
I mean, I'll give you that. I don't think it's super suspenseful. I mean, I don't think that
it
because
could have been though.
I guess it could have been.
I mean,
In my opinion, it didn't need to be.
okay.
I liked what
I think
it was.
I'm more invested in the comedy and in the suspense
Mhm.
if
Done throughout.
Yeah, if it's done competently throughout,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about in our next movie.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't like this one. I really thought you'd at least find it somewhat funny.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't think it was going to be like on Tammy level. Was it on Tammy level?
Not quite as excruciating. Like there's a couple
Okay.
good sequences and there's a couple moments, but
Yeah.
it's not as bad as
So it's
Tammy.
above
Tammy, I just
that.
wanted to like, can I go to Total Recall and wipe this away? My memory.
Is it above Coyote Ugly?
Yeah, probably.
So it's middle of the
like a
pack,
hair
yeah.
above Coyote
little bit.
Ugly.
Okay. So it's at the bottom, but it's the top of the bottom.
Yeah, bottom like the barrel's full a little bit. Then you throw a cocaine barrel on it, and we light a match.
Oh no. No, I mean honestly this movie is something I will continue to watch over and over.
I'm sure
Like
you
I
will.
liked it that much.
I'm glad you liked it.
I laughed so much at this movie. But I think that goes back to a lot of things we've talked about are differences. I like simple. I don't want to be super involved. I want to just be at surface level and not care about people and just have fun.
The way I watch the movies is the way I live my life. Do not want to care about the people.
That is how I live my life.
You are there, you exist. That is all I need.
Throw a few jokes in there and I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Usually my own jokes, but they're funny to me.
As long as you enjoy them.
Oh, I did. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I had a really me and Joe and Mike watched it
At Sugar Some Stuff.
at Walpurgisnacht
Yeah.
before Joe Bob, and we giggled and made jokes. It's a great movie to Mystery Science Theater.
Mm-hmm. See, I feel like that's what was missing this time when I watched it is I wasn't watching it with people.
Yeah.
I think I still loved it, and I'll probably will watch it a lot of times by myself, but I want to introduce more people to it.
Yeah, I think that it's a movie that benefits from an audience that is willing to just kind of go along for the ride and
Yeah.
make jokes at the movie, which is part of the enjoyableness of it. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I think it's intentional. I think it knows what it is, and I think it.
I don't think it does.
Yes,
I think if they wanted to make a full on Sharknado
I felt like
kind of
it knew.
parody, they should have. I felt like they didn't want.
I don't think it was supposed to be that either.
Why don't? Well, then
I
what
feel
the
like-
hell is the movie?
Cocaine
it
Bear.
is.
I think it was exactly what it was meant to be.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm sure that they that's what they made.
Well, not
but I
not
don't-
according to Elizabeth Banks.
Well, I don't know what she's
So
talking about.
I don't know
I
either.
did kind of get her point, and I did see that at one point. I don't think they went far enough with that.
Yeah, I could see where she
because I
was
definitely
thinking
see
about
where
going
she
there,
was
but I
thinking
don't
about
see
going
where it
there,
went there.
But she didn't
at
really.
I just
go
don't think
there.
she's a very good director.
Really?
I don't think she
I
was-
loved this movie. I don't
Pitch
know.
Perfect's great.
I mean,
Pitch Perfect was good.
yeah, Pitch
And-
Perfect. That doesn't necessarily.
What
She's
other
not like an
movies has she
artsy
done?
director. Or
No, but I
anything.
mean,
I'm so sorry. I also don't agree. I think it was a good time.
Yeah.
okay, that's fine.
But that's why it's the real opposite.
That's right.
You think it wasn't anything, and I think it was exactly what it was supposed to be. Not Elizabeth Banks what she thought it was supposed to be, but
No, none of that's in the movie. Like,
what it was.
I
Yeah.
also feel like there's a good chance Elizabeth Banks being Elizabeth Banks that's a joke.
I mean, who knows?
And she just delivers things super, like all of her jokes she delivers just like she's saying normal
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
and you kind of have to, you know.
well,
Could
I mean,
have
if you'd
been.
have
And then
told me,
IMDb just was like, this sounds like it's
well,
serious.
I mean, the movie, like, it doesn't have any like things that is like, oh, Elizabeth Banks directed this. It just looked like anybody could have made this movie.
Yeah.
I thought it was really ugly looking too. Like, just the digital photography was very flat. And
I thought
boring.
that was all part of it. Like, to me,
No, I mean that's just most movies look like shit
Oh, okay.
anymore. Just with the way they shoot and grade the digital. It
Oh,
just
okay.
looks like-
Doing this again. Speaking of the digital effects, so I was just watching the 2005 King of Kong. Not great.
King Kong.
King Kong.
You
yeah.
said King of Kong.
Oh yeah, King Kong.
isn't that the
one with
documentary?
Jack Black.
Yeah.
And
There's a King
it
Kong movie with
wasn't
Jack Black?
supposed to be funny, but I died laughing. Yeah, there's King Kong with Jack Black. There's one scene where he's like, I need you in the shot so people don't know this is fake. And there's like all of these
Yeah.
really bad CGI dinosaurs behind him. And he goes, nobody's going to think these are fake. And it was like, it killed me. They're so clearly.
It sounds like that was the point.
No, I don't think that was a joke.
No, I mean
think
the joke is that the Jack Black and like they're thinking like in the characters thinking that it's like, oh, nobody's gonna think these are fake.
Right,
Yeah.
that's what I meant, yeah.
I mean, I think that shot looks fine. The stampede is funky.
Oh, they're bad. Have you seen that? Have you?
I watched it last year. I mean, I watched it like almost every year.
They're
My favorite
they're
King
bad
Kong.
dinosaurs. They're all blurry around the edges.
I mean, I would be
They
interested
look
because
bad.
Jack Black's in it. I like Jack Black.
Yeah.
Never have I been like, oh, I need to watch King Kong, but now I kind of want to watch that one.
It's
It
3 hours
was-
long.
Oh, no, thank you. I'll watch clips.
They just don't look real. They look like they're completely. They look worse than Cocaine Bear.
Well,
does,
it's almost
and
20 years old too.
Well, yeah, that makes a difference.
I guess it is almost 20 years old.
Oh,
But Jurassic Park is 40 years old, and all of those look better
it's
than
30
the-
years
or
old.
30 years old.
It doesn't.
I think
No,
it does.
it's if you like I mean, forgetting like the first brachiosaur, you can see like
They're
them moving the texture around. Like it
Yeah.
doesn't look. The T-Rex attack still looks amazing.
yeah.
Like the nighttime stuff still looks amazing, but the daytime stuff's funky.
They just.
But it's 30 years old, you know.
right.
Like things
Yeah.
like, you know, shots from, you know, whatever 40-year-old movie, the movie don't
They're not
hold
gonna
up.
hold
but
up.
like, but they only like the actual Kong in that movie is amazing.
Kong looks great.
Oh, okay.
The dinosaurs did not look great, in my opinion.
Why are there dinosaurs in it?
Because it's King Kong.
Are there dinosaurs in
This
all?
is
Yeah, there's
the-
dinosaurs on Skull Island.
These are.
I think.
But I mean, maybe they look fine for 2005.
Yeah,
But they look.
I mean, I think that's
like
yeah.
I think they look
do.
better than Jurassic World.
maybe. Jurassic World's dinosaurs are also struggling. We've done better effects in life. I just think that it's absolutely not. No one's gonna think these are fake. Like those are clearly not real dinosaurs. You needed puppets. They need puppets. I just think everyone should use puppets all the time.
There you go.
I know they're very expensive.
Well, they didn't even use puppets. I mean, they use puppets in Jurassic. I mean, there's a good mix of both.
Yeah.
Okay, so. All right, so I guess that brings us
Our
to
third
the
movie was King Kong.
So-
bonus episode. Let's talk about King Kong. I love that movie.
All right, so I guess that brings us to the end of the discussion about the
I
wonderful
just want to
movie.
talk about King
Cocaine.
Kong now because you're like that's the kind of movie because I actually care about Naomi Watts and Kong, you know, and they have
Well, maybe we'll do that as an episode.
maybe.
You could pick that,
Okay,
and maybe I can get through this ending, and
it's very touching.
without you interrupt me.
Okay, go.
I think
I've
it's a
tried,
good
what,
movie.
3
I
times?
just thought
Oh,
that
okay.
that was funny and dinosaurs.
No, I
the
get that.
dinosaurs
I
look
get that.
Stupid. I lost my mind. Anyway, sorry.
Y'all just let me know when you're done talking about a movie that wasn't part of the podcast, and I'll continue.
Hmm.
I mean, the dinosaurs.
Yes.
I mean, I still think they look fine, but like the stampede especially is just because it's like the characters are all running on the treadmills and it just doesn't quite.
For me, I think it has to do with the blurring around the edges of them.
Yeah,
I don't know what CGI effect that is, but some movies have it and some don't, and I feel like
Probably adjusting for like the 24 frames.
Yeah.
Where they have to add some motion blur to make it look more like it's in the scene.
And it just doesn't, like, it just looks like they're not.
I get it.
It looks like they're not like not really there. It looks like they're like an illusion. It's like how you would see an illusion in like, real life or something. I don't know. It's very weird.
It's all good. I mean, I get it.
But it made me giggle. That's all. It's like, no one's going to think these are fake. I was like, those are clearly not living dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
I think we're done.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, so I guess that brings us to the end of the discussion about Cocaine Bear and our bonus movie, King Kong, that I did not watch. So we will go to some announcements from the library, and then we'll be back to discuss the Werewolf movie.
An American Werewolf in London?
Yes.
Show some respect, sir.
Greetings, everyone. This is Kendall from Youth Services at SCPL, and I'm excited to share our summer reading plans with you. Summer reading this year is going to be out of this world for all of our kids. We are traveling to outer space, and sign-ups begin Tuesday, May 23rd at 6 p.m. Between 6 and 7:30, feel free to pop by the library to sign up, get everything you need for the summer, calendars, reading logs. We'll have crafts and some snacks available that night too, and we hope to see you there. But of course, that's not the only time you can sign up for summer reading. Anytime after that date, just stop by the Youth Services office and we'll be happy to assist you with getting signed up. And then our programs will begin the first week of June, the week of June 5th. And a brief overview on Tuesdays throughout the summer. We will have school-age programs for kiddos who are in elementary school. This is perfect for kids in grades or rising into grades, kindergarten through 5. And we'll have those at 10:30 and 6:30 each Tuesday. On Wednesday, we have our teen programs, which are perfect for middle and high schoolers. And again, those are Wednesdays between 3 and 5 p.m. And then Thursdays, we have our early literacy programs, which is for all kiddos from birth through toddlerhood and preschool. And that will be at 10:30 a.m. each Thursday and again at 3:30 p.m. So all this information will be on those calendars you will get when you sign up for summer reading, but we really hope that you'll join us. We have a lot of fun planned: space food, a traveling planetarium, experiments, great songs and stories. And so we hope you will go on this wonderful journey with us this summer. And I'm going to hand it off to Toby, who will share about adult summer reading.
All right, so our adult summer reading program is going to start the same time. We will also be there for signups on the 23rd. And then after that, you're welcome to register anytime after that. The theme for adults this summer, though, is Weird and Wonderful West Virginia. We will talk about all the things that make our state unique and interesting, but also we will definitely be talking about our local cryptids, such as Mothman, the Flatwoods Monster, and even Bigfoot this summer. We have a lot of really cool stuff going on. A couple little highlights. On June 21st, we will have some Bigfoot researchers coming to present there in the shadow of the Big Red Eye. We will also have the Real Opposites, will be doing a screening of the Mothman prophecies on Monday, June 12th. But our first program for the summer will begin with our book club. So for adults, we've been having this really great book club this year. We're welcoming anybody out who wants to attend, but books are limited, so we recommend signing up ahead of time for that. Other than that, there's so much more that I don't have time to talk about in a commercial, so you guys will find out about that as you come and sign up and get your calendars. All right, and going back to the show.
So we're back and going to start. I guess we'll just jump right into your opinion, or not your opinion, but why you chose An American Werewolf in London.
So American Werewolf in London is one of my all-time favorites. I vividly remember going to the video store and my dad picking, like probably I was like 9 or something, and my dad picking the movie out and be like, "Oh, this is awesome! You're gonna love this like the werewolf transformation is amazing." We watched it. I remember just laughing, and the werewolf transformation is amazing, and like it was very affecting. I don't know, it just really all worked for me. And it's usually one of those I watch every year in October. It's like staple of my horror on. And every year, I think it just gets better and it looks better compared to everything that comes out. And it's the exact opposite of Cocaine Bear.
Okay.
It's like, it's a simple premise. It's two guys backpacking in England.
Yes.
And one of them's killed by a werewolf and the other one's bitten and is, now that's where it jumps off. And it's very focused on David, his trauma, his transformation, how that affects him and the people around him, including the nurse, Jenny Agutter, who he falls in love with. At the end, it's like, it's very powerful for me. Like, I care so much about him, and to watch him as a werewolf kill himself by jumping in front of the fire from the cops, I think that's really powerful. And there's also just so many funny moments, but they're not like...
Actually funny?
They're not dumb funny. Like, they're kind of like clever and quirky. A lot of it comes from David and Jack's interaction, and like when Jack comes back as the undead and Jack's kind of snarky attitude towards him, and like the first time he comes back in the hospital, that little dangly piece on his neck is really funny, which Rick Baker added in because he just wanted to like jiggle. Still little stuff like that. I mean, that's what I mean. Is like, I think it's a perfect balance of being a full-blooded horror movie and just a really, a comedy secondary. So it focuses more on the horror, but the characters are well realized. It's exceptionally well made. The makeup effects are pretty much, this is the reason you have the best makeup effects category at the Oscars. It created that category. They were so, like, that transformation scene, I still think looks amazing. It might seem kind of like, not as intricate as some later that are like, have CG and everything, but like just for the cuts and the sequence and how it builds. And because you really feel like when he transforms, you feel the bones breaking and spreading and the hair growing, and it's just so sudden. He's just sitting there and then he's exploding. And so, I mean, that's the reason, I don't know. That's why I thought it was like, oh, this would be a good one for Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear is the opposite of what.
Yeah. I love that we matched and did a creature feature. I thought that was pretty cool.
So what did you think about it?
So, An American Werewolf in London. My thoughts. Did that sound like I was going to start like a really cool like speech or something? Oh, okay. Anyways, so I will tell you this. Yesterday, I watched the trailer for it, or at least what YouTube said was the official trailer, and it looked absolutely horrible. I couldn't even make it through 3 minutes of that. I skipped it a lot. But I will say I also watched the movie yesterday, and thank goodness it was a little better than the trailer.
Because I thought you were going to say, and I didn't watch the movie.
No. I mean, honestly, the trailer made me not want to watch the movie.
Well, trailers from that era are very, they're very long.
I need you to go back and watch that trailer and just see if you also think it's horrible.
I don't know if I've ever seen the trailer for it.
It doesn't even seem like a trailer. It seems like clips.
That's the way that a
but
lot
not
of trailers
put together in any kind of good way.
That's the way the trailers were usually.
We can do it
it's
real
horrible.
quick.
It's okay.
No, I don't want to watch it.
Trailer.
I said he could watch it some other
watch it
time.
later.
It's horrible.
I'm sure it is. Most trailers from that era.
Oh,
were
okay.
very good.
Yeah, it was a total like,
Okay,
I was dreading
so
it.
the movie, not the trailer.
But I did watch the movie. It was a little better than the trailer. I think the story is good. I found the movie kind of long and boring, but was focused, like you said. You have the two hitchhikers and all that. I think the story was really good. The makeup effects were great. I don't think I found it funny where you said it was funny. I didn't really laugh much at all. The makeup with the dangly piece, my opinion on that was going to be like, the makeup was really good, except for that weird dangly piece.
That's supposed to be just like a piece of skin flapping.
Right. To me, it was just annoying. I didn't realize it was supposed to be funny. Like, I was just like, why? They screwed up all the makeup. Because other than that, I thought the makeup was really good.
Yeah.
I will also say the transformation scene is really good. It was very good, and I think it does hold up. You were saying you don't know, like now that we have CGI and stuff. I think this holds up more because it's practical type stuff.
Yeah,
and like you said, you feel that transformation.
yeah. I mean, like the David Naughton's acting is like you really feel like this is really happening to him.
Yeah.
You know, and I just didn't know like people are expecting like something more elaborate or like
I think this was like peak elaborate.
I mean I think so too. Like I think this is the best like creature transformation in any movie because
It's probably one of the best I've seen, I would say.
like technically maybe there's been better ones since then, but I think because I care about David and the acting is so good. And this is the thing with like the practical effects is you had to plan them out so carefully.
Right.
Each shot so that you're hiding certain things and you don't that I think it it required more thought into how it's presented than just like, we'll just CG him into the world.
Right.
And, that'll be good.
Now,
I mean,
I
I'm
will
not
say-
saying that's not difficult too, to do it well. Actually, I think like, I don't think they're good movies, but the Underworld movies have really great werewolf. I just think their werewolves look awesome. The movies suck, but their werewolves are really cool and the transformation scenes are really cool.
Yeah, those are fun. Those are a good time. Also, but like they're not good, but I think they're a good time still.
They
I
can
don't
be-
know.
Never seen
They
them,
can
of
be
course.
fun to watch.
The fourth one I remember liking pretty good. Like it was just kind of a dumb action movie.
Oh,
Like it was like the 3D one.
okay, so not the one that's like the history of.
No, I found that one kind of bland.
That one is kind of the.
No,
that was, I was
sound
gonna
like it
say
was
that's
called
probably
history,
the
so.
worst one.
Underworld history.
Yeah.
Prequel you didn't need.
I will say at the beginning, towards the beginning of the movie, when he has one of the first dreams of him becoming a werewolf.
He's like running in the woods.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was that dream or a different one, but they show his face, and it's him with like werewolf teeth, but his
Yeah.
face is just like stark white,
Yeah.
like white paint on it. I was like, this transformation scene, this transformation scene is going to be.
Transformation machine.
Yeah, this
All right,
transformation.
Scooby, we're going to the transformation machine.
I was worried that the transformation scene was going to be like that.
No.
Because it was so horrible. So when it came, it was like a welcoming surprise
Yeah.
that it was that good. But they did a great job. Like you said, you had to cut away and all that. Even the cutaways during that transformation adds to
Yeah.
the feeling that you're getting.
It feels
during
very
the
fluid.
transformation.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like it's almost like a dance. Like it's very well choreographed.
And it looks good.
It does.
I was really, even though like the bones coming out, the claws coming out, that seemed going to be good. I was worried about the face part,
That's probably the best part.
but it is great.
Because you see like the face start to like form and then the bladders start to fill like in the
Yeah.
cheeks and everything. And it's just like, it's Rick Baker's. He's so
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, so I will say the makeup and the transformation scene were great. I did like the story. I could have used less of the love part, of course. It just seemed unnecessary, but people like you want to care about people. So, I'm sure it reaches the right audience. I did not like it. I think I enjoyed it for what it was.
I think I enjoyed it. I don't know.
I don't know how to
enjoy it.
So I'm glad I've seen it
Okay.
because I've always heard about it. And it's
Classic.
I've always heard it's a classic, but I don't know that I'd ever watch it again,
Okay.
kind of thing. But I have a problem with watching old movies, like they all just feel old to me, and maybe that's where some of it gets lost for me. I don't know, but it did a great job of telling the story it was telling,
Yeah.
for sure.
Did you find anything? You said you didn't find anything funny. Did you find things scary?
I mean, I don't think it was scary, I don't really find horror stuff scary though.
No, I mean, I don't either, but like,
Yeah,
it's
there
more
were no
like-
jump scares,
more-
so that was good.
Con-
Well, I think like
Conceptually,
the dream where it,
yeah.
it kind of goes from him going with the
Oh, yeah.
the white makeup. That's like a
Yeah.
little, like there's a couple little jumps, but they're not.
I
like-
guess, yeah.
like
I don't
when
think
they're
they
first
hit.
when they're first
me.
attacked.
Conceptually, for me, the idea of like any kind of transformation movie is like, so there's a lot of like, there's body horror in this, right? So like it kind of, I feel like the transformation scene, the reason it's so good is it kind of gets under your skin and you can feel it.
Oh,
Like,
for
you know what I
sure.
mean? So like that's the horror element for me, but also I think the way they play werewolves in this, I feel like we've gotten wishy-washy with our monsters these days, is our monsters aren't monsters. They're like, there's too much people still in them.
Yeah.
I like that they leave this nebulous at the end when he like you think maybe he recognizes her, but you don't know that he does.
Yeah.
And this is total loss of self, and I think that's kind of terrifying as a concept
I
because
mean,
he's out of control. He's
for
just
sure.
You could read it either
know?
way at the end. Like if he's just lunging at her because he's the wolf and he wants to kill her, or if he's trying to kill himself. I do think it kind of leans towards the latter because there's like a close up of his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
think
agree with that.
And I like that. But I mean, you can read it either way. I think.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's meant to be. Yes, he recognized her, but I also think it's meant to be. But maybe he doesn't. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or he recognizes her, but he's still lunging at her because he's still the
wolf.
He still doesn't have control.
Like he internally wants to stop, but he can't.
Right.
And I think,
which is true throughout the movie. And sure, that.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, that would be scary. 100%.
You're not in control of your body.
Right.
You know?
Knowing what you're doing, but not knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like he knows the next morning, oh, that was me. He finally realizes it, but.
This is the movie Teen Wolf could have been because it's like the perfect, like you're not in control of your body. Hormones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but
it would have worked. Yeah.
Ginger Snaps is a better teen werewolf movie, in my opinion. I love Ginger Snaps.
I've seen parts of that.
It's pretty good.
But it's like, I think that we get too many monsters in monster movies now that they have too much conscience. And it's like a monster can have a conscience, but I like it better if it's played Jekyll and Hyde like this.
Yeah.
Where it's like he has a conscience. He's sorry for what he's done, but he's not in control when the bad things happen.
Right. Which makes sense. And that's part of the whole, like I said, they really play the story out how it should be because he doesn't have control.
Yeah.
I did like that part.
And I like the way they play for the guilt, you know? Like the whole Jack's telling him, you got to kill yourself so I can die.
Right.
And so all these other people that you're killing can die. And in that scene, like where he's talking to his little sister in the phone booth, you know, like right before he's about ready to kill himself. And he sees Jack. And I think all that's just really powerful. Like,
I would say that scene was,
And that's what I mean. Is like, I can really empathize with David. Like I'm there with him. Also, I think it's easy for Americans too, because it's like American kids, like especially 40 years ago in London, it's like culture, you know, language. I mean, not really, kind of.
Yeah.
And you're a foreigner, which
Right.
brings me to like some of the subtext in the movie. So they mentioned quite a few times about David being Jewish, and then of course there's the dream sequence with the Nazi monsters.
Right.
So there's a lot of like David and Jack being outsiders, treated differently, and kind of he's an other. And then he's really the other when he's a werewolf.
I think you really see that when they go to the slaughtered. Is it the
Slaughtered lamb?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they are definitely treated like outsiders there,
and
and you can really see it.
And there's like this generational like turmoil, I think, with like David being in Europe. That's why he's having these dreams of, because he's, of course, would have grown up with maybe some of his family immigrated during, after World War II or during World War II. So some of that is just baked into his, into his head. And so that's why he's having these dreams like of being exterminated while he's changing into something else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think all that's really pretty fascinating. And like I said, I love the, like where he's basically has to commit suicide to
save everyone.
Save everyone that he's killed. From
and the people he might kill.
Yeah. I mean, like he just needs, you can't live like this. You need to kill yourself.
Right.
I think all that's really powerful.
Yeah. I mean, I think overall, I would say I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
Like I said, I really enjoyed the story, the transformation scene. I, of course, didn't pick up on as much subtext as you're talking about, but now talking about it, it makes total sense. Whereas when I watched it, I was like, why are there like soldiers?
Yeah.
But I think it carries out what it needs to, and it does have underlying things as well now that you're talking about them.
Yeah, man, there's also like, they like no one believes him. No one believes that it was a werewolf, not until the doctor goes to East Proctor and, is kind of convinced. And there's kind of like, allegory for being, this was kind of like the start of like AIDS. So like a blood disease that's being transferred or for being gay, like that feeling like, it's just the mental disorder. What you're experiencing isn't real.
Right.
So I think all that's in the movie. I don't know. That's what I mean. It's like, it's well made. There are funny parts, but I think it leans more hard into the horror aspect, and not just like the gore. This is the trope. Like Cocaine Bear was it's just gore for the sake of gore. Like it wasn't really clever or funny. It was just gore. And
now I will say I would have liked more gore in this movie, but I'm a gore person.
I just if if it's
You
like,
need
I
to
just
watch The Sadness, man. I think that will overdose you, and then you'll like other movies.
I only
better.
watched like 20 minutes. Of
Yeah,
that. I was
like
yeah.
I can't. I couldn't. No, but like you might like it if gore is what you're about. The
Watch like
Sadness,
Hellraiser or something.
or Hellraiser.
I've not seen that either.
Oh, we should make that happen. That might be
an October one.
October episode. I'm not recommending it for podcast. I'm not recommending it to anyone. But
No,
I'm saying if
I
you
recommend it.
are like, I want more gore in my movies, just watch The Sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. or Ricky O, The Ballad of Ricky, in a more fun way. They use so much fake blood in the last scene of that movie that the lead actor was dyed red for like 2 weeks.
That's wild.
Like he went to Premier's Pink.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And so speaking of like that, like the makeup, David Naughton, who plays David in the movie, he said the worst makeup, like the most painful makeup, was the white makeup from when he's in the bed
Oh, really?
because of the contacts. They were, like I say, they're big, like thick glass contacts, and the fangs, I guess, were not comfortable at all. He said that I think it was in the commentary. So yeah, all the makeup, and I just talk about the music too. The music's amazing, and I love that hard cut. The hard cut at the end to CCR. It's like, oh, that's so
the
so
music.
good.
Let me pull up my notes. By the way,
Okay.
I made notes,
Did you?
so it caught my interest enough that I could make notes. Let's see. I love Blue Moon. I love that it opened with that.
Yeah.
One thing I did not like is I felt like the opening was so pointless and long. While they played Blue Moon, of course I enjoyed the music, but it was just like
I mean, the opening credits.
it was just like landscape and it went on forever. I like there to be a point. Like if they were showing some of the places that would eventually be in the movie, or I don't know, just something.
I mean,
or
I think it's like,
or even if it was showing them walking.
well, I like that I like movies that have like a title sequence, and it's maybe not the most elaborate title sequence, but it's showing you kind of the desolate landscape that they're in.
Right.
While Blue Moon is playing. It's
Right.
like, and I think those two things are setting the mood. Like they contrast each other.
It does, and I get that. I just could have used like 10 seconds of it, and that would have been good for me. And then maybe they get out and walk, start their journey during that, because then that really pulls in okay, they're on this journey, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So that was something, but I did really like the music. I have right here that it says music, so I could talk about that. I don't know why I didn't think to pull this up ahead of time, but...
So I'll tell you why Blue Moon doesn't work for me. And it's not a problem from the time the movie was made. But for some reason, every time I hear that song, I just picture the mics from Babe singing it. I don't know if you guys watched Babe.
I haven't seen
Kendall
that
said the
forever.
same thing.
Yeah.
She couldn't not picture
See, I
Babe.
thought about
Yeah.
Selena.
Yeah. And so all I
movie.
can hear is like Blue Moon, like little mice voices, like doing it, and I'm like, I can't.
I was really excited when I started with that. I just love that song anyways.
Yeah, I do too.
But it did also make me think of Selena, because they do that at the beginning of
okay.
Selena
But
too.
it makes me think of
The mice from Babe.
the mice from Babe every time it's
Yeah.
in anything.
The other thing in the beginning that irked me a little bit was the fact that which one becomes the werewolf?
David.
David, when Jack is getting attacked, David just leaves.
Well, yeah, and I think that's
I get it, but
well, that's why I like.
Poor
There's an
little guy.
emotional honesty to that. Like if some giant werewolf is just like
Right.
and you're just like and just go the other way. Like
I mean, yeah,
then
it does.
I
You're
guess
like,
after-
he's dead. I can't do anything to help.
yeah, I mean,
I'm
like
gone.
there's
Right.
nothing you can do. Like
mean,
there's
that's-
like
I
an
guess that's
8-foot
true.
werewolf that's. But then he goes back and Jack's of course mauled to death
Yeah.
and then so it's a funny little that was the coldest night everyone who shot those sequences
Mm-hmm.
it was the coldest night they'd ever felt. It was like below -11 room,
wow.
like air temperature, not even with wind chill or anything.
That's wild.
And the guy who is the werewolf who's laying there naked
Mhm.
is actually the stunt coordinator.
Oh, that's cool.
And they were all they were saying they would go up to like poke him just to make sure he was still alive. Like he's a little old. He's an older guy. And it's like just laying there naked, it's -11.
Right.
Like,
It's kind of touch and go there.
yeah.
In my notes, the only other thing that I have that was like a bad thing, and then I'll get to a good one. I felt it unnecessary for them to be in an adult theater. But we have talked about this before. I'm not crazy about pointless nudity. I just, they could have been in a regular theater and it would have been just the same. To me.
I think it was, again, leaning into that point of like othering and counterculture.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, I
that
could see
kind
that.
of-
Yeah. And also, I
like-
mean, just at that point, porn theaters were.
That I was
thing,
going to say
yeah.
that.
Were
Now
just a
that
thing.
was a thing back
I mean-
then, and so I get it. I don't
think
know.
it's also to just kind of make you like, well, they don't want to go like see like a like a Saturday matinee of Raiders of the Lost Ark and it's going to be packed. And
Yeah.
you know, so I think
I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Could have just been a bad movie, though. I
It's
mean,
a place that people also like.
go to feel like who don't like.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, yeah,
I
people
don't- I
go
can't-
there to be anonymous,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
So like it's
exactly.
not a place
Yeah.
where you make eye contact with
Yeah.
people as you're walking in and
Yeah.
out the doors. Like
Where you
it's
have
like
your
a
head
place
down.
that's hidden and like
yeah, okay, that
You're-
makes
You're
If
an
the-
other.
That
You're-
kinda makes some
You're weird for
sense,
going
yeah.
there.
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
like it's a place you could meet secretly,
Right,
so to
yeah.
speak. You know, like
I guess that makes sense.
Also, I just think the porn they shot is really funny because they shot that like the.
Oh, did they?
Or they're like, she's like, I've never seen you before.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that
like-
was funny.
He's like, oh, and then just walks
Yeah,
off.
that was a little funny. And speaking of funny, I did make a note of a part that I thought was funny. I thought it was funny when after he leaves the zoo and he's naked and he's in a bush.
Oh, the balloons.
and then like he comes out of the bush and the woman's there and he's like, oh, excuse me, jumps back into the bush and then is talking to that child from the bush. I did find that funny.
yeah,
That was the funny moment for me in the movie. So there was that.
A naked
There was
Ameri-
that moment.
a naked American man stole my balloon.
Right. And
Yeah.
she's just like, what?
That would have been the funnier part. Just like, psh,
Yeah.
stop
That would've
lying.
been good. And going back to the being different and things like that, I think a little bit you saw that also because he steals that woman's red coat and then he's standing in line with
Oh yeah,
men,
yeah.
and they're like giving him these weird looks and all this and
Yeah.
like, you know, they don't even know him, but he's an outcast once again.
Yeah, I mean, I think they really play that pretty clearly
Yeah.
throughout the whole movie. So in the Michael Jackson's Thriller, which John Landis also directed, mostly because Michael Jackson saw American Werewolf in London and was so
okay.
impressed by the effects that he wanted to get John Landis and Rick Baker, who did the makeup effects, to do the makeup effects for Thriller, which they did. And they also used some of the unused like creatures they had created for Thriller and some of the unused music from American Werewolf that Elmer Bernstein composed. They also used for Thriller.
Oh,
The
okay.
Thriller is kind of like the leftovers of
Yeah.
American Werewolf in London.
That's really
which
cool.
I think is pretty fascinating.
And I mean, I don't blame him. Like the effects and the makeup and everything in
Yeah.
this movie
I
are
mean,
amazing.
Combined, I think like this and The Thing
hmm
are the Mount Everest of
Yeah, I would say
practical
so.
effects. Like there's not really any better. Like
I would,
even the full werewolf thing, I still think looks great.
yeah.
And they do, and it's kind of like the shark from Jaws. It's like you don't ever really get like a really great view
No.
of the werewolf. Like, and it's
I
not like
liked the scene in the subway when he
That's
murders the guy on the
fantastic.
stairs because you do get that overhead shot and you start to see you get
Yeah,
a
you
little
get,
glimpse
like,
of
it's
the
walking-
werewolf
yeah.
as he's walking in. I thought that was a great shot because throughout the movie, I wanted to see the werewolf.
yeah,
I,
you do, yeah.
That's the one thing I felt like I was missing, and that shot was just enough, but still leaves the mystery of it as well.
Yeah. And it's like that's the thing is like you see everyone's reaction.
Right.
Usually that's the best part of a monster is seeing the person reacting and how scared they are and in
True.
peril. And fun fact, the guy in the subway is actually I forget his name, but he plays Bib Fortuna in Return of the Jedi. Yeah. same
there's
actor.
I
His
think
name is Bib Fortuna.
Yeah, he's Jabba's like
He just likes
this
tuna a lot.
Star Wars. Everyone has weird names.
Speaking of which, I have a video I need to show you. It's if Cardi B made the sound effects for Star Wars.
Okay,
okay, we'll watch that.
later.
It's like 10 seconds.
didn't
I
think
was
Cardi
going to
B would
say,
invent
back to the podcast, one of the things that I think makes practical effects work, they always work, right? So they work forever. They always look as good as they
Yeah,
looked the day they were done.
If they're done
forever.
well.
If they're done well, yeah. I mean,
Right.
it's-
Yeah. I mean,
still they have to have
You-
if Rick Baker or Stan Winston or Rob Bottin are doing your makeup effects,
Yeah.
they're going to hold up.
it's also more as if they're shot well, right?
Yeah.
Like they can be super good effects and stuff. Like, it can look real, but if it's not shot creatively the way that they do it in here, where, like you said, it's like, you know, a cut to the reaction, a cut to the like, you know, little bits of it, so that because like the thing that's scary is what your brain does with the little bit of imagery and stuff. What makes, I mean, that's what works in the thing too, is like you definitely see the monster full on, right?
Yeah, I mean, that one definitely shows more,
you know, it's the bits that kind of like really bring it together. This is the same thing.
What movie are we talking about?
The Thing and American Werewolf.
Okay.
American Werewolf.
Because those get, like, American Werewolf was 81.
I thought she was talking about a different one.
No.
Thing was 82, so it's like those.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And then you
honestly,
also had The Howling that came out the same year as.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not as nearly as good a movie, and I don't think the makeup effects are as good.
They're not as good, but The Howling's still a decent
Yeah,
werewolf
it's still
flick.
okay.
The Dog Soldiers is also a pretty
That's
good
a pretty good
werewolf
movie
flick.
too. I like Dog Soldiers.
I don't know. I just think that good effects are made, and what you're saying with them like flipping to the reaction and stuff.
Yeah.
There's actually a really famous, he's a manga artist that does horror called Junji Ito, and that's like a marker of his work, is you always see the reaction before you see the thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's always like the heart pounding like kind of moment. And I think that, you know, if it's done competently and everybody's together, you know, and you're in it with the characters, like a practical effect works so much better, because it doesn't, you know, it's there.
I mean, films, you have to have, everything has to be clicking. So if the makeup effects are great, and then you have someone who knows how to shoot it and light it, and then you have good actors playing off of them, it really sings. And I mean, and there's, like, I still like the stuff like Aliens too. You know, the Alien movies are still hold up. Like, they still look great because it's like, oh, those are aliens crawling in the ceiling. Yeah.
Well, and people are actually reacting. Like, they're seeing it. They're not reacting to a ball.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's a little bit different, I think.
I mean, yeah, and it kind of depends on what you're making too. Like, some things you just can't do, are too complicated, but
right.
It's good that like they do with like Gollum or Kong or whatever. Like, there's still something on set for an actor to react to. Amazing makeup. Transformation.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was really good. And I think, I mean, with both of those movies, I have said that about both. It's the practical effects. It just is a totally different thing.
It's like gooier too.
Right. it's textured. Now, I will say the one thing I was not crazy about in American Werewolf was the Jack.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so his makeup at first, when he's like firstly mauled, is really good. I felt like by the last time they talked to him, I didn't like that makeup as much.
That's an animatronic.
That's why I didn't like it.
It's not. It's not a person.
Oh, okay. I thought it seemed weird.
Yeah.
And that's probably why then.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, I kind of think it kind of works because he's like deteriorating to the point where he's like, it's like stuff's creaking and cracking, and
it makes sense. But now that makes so much sense because I was like comparing it to the makeup. Well, no wonder it looks different.
One of my favorite funny, like, humorous moments is at the end when he's introducing the people that he's killed, like the homeless men, and then the couple, and it's just like, hello.
Yeah, the couple. Yeah, they were funny.
They're just like, happy to be here.
Yeah, I did think that was a little funny. Yeah. And I will say the end of this movie, I like the way it just ends.
Yeah.
Like you get that close up of him, or the wide shot of him being dead.
Yeah. Look at you,
and
said
that's when it
wide
ends.
shot.
Yeah. Did you like that?
I did.
But then it just ends. It's like it's perfect ending because that's the end of the story.
That's the end of the story. And this is the thing, like, I feel like Cocaine Bear, it's trying to do too much. Too many stories going on. Doesn't know where it's going to end. Whereas this one, I feel like you have a clear beginning, middle, and an end. And it knows, like 92 minutes, boom, it's done.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I think it's a different kind of movie, and it was okay.
I mean,
to be Cocaine Bear, but But overall, I think I would say I like this movie for what it was. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely glad now I can say I've seen it. That transformation scene is, I feel, important to cinema history enough that everybody should see it. Like, even if you don't want to watch the movie, look up that transformation scene and watch that. Like, that is...
It's top tier.
It is. It's up there with the stuff from The Thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to beat. What I find funny is like, so they had to cut the movie down to get an R rating.
Probably because
Not
all the unnecessary nudity.
What was I saying? Actually, because of the sex.
We went over why the nudity was necessary.
I know, but it's still
That
unnecessary.
is actually because of like the sex scenes between.
Well, yeah, because they were also a little unnecessary.
No, it's not. They're falling in love.
I know, but
it
it doesn't need to be 10 minutes of falling in love. Like, I get it.
It's like 40 seconds
Oh, well, it felt like 10 minutes.
or maybe a minute. I mean,
I'm so, and I don't know why it is, like, but in movies, like,
tell me, Aaron, what traumatized you as a child?
I don't know. It's just in regular movies.
Why can you not feel love, Aaron?
It's not that. It's just in regular movies, I think,
Wait, what are not regular movies?
well, porn. Like, I feel like that's necessary. In regular movies, I just don't need all kinds of sex scenes.
Right.
Or long ones. Like, I get it. I get what you're doing.
I think it's
Let's
a
wrap it up.
cultural thing, and it just makes like it's a cultural discomfort that Americans have.
Maybe. I don't
It
know.
is.
Very
I mean, I think
puritanical.
that it's very much. I think it very much comes out of like. I mean, I'm sure everyone has had the experience of watching a movie with your parents.
Oh, yes.
And then a sex
That's
scene
always
comes
horrible.
on, and it's super uncomfortable.
It's still uncomfortable.
And
I saw
so-
Eyes Wide Shut opening weekend with my mom and my sister.
Oh.
Yeah. You have a different family dynamic, I think, than me and Aaron had growing up. I think it's like you're very like wildly uncomfortable, like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that discomfort translates to, depending on just how ingrained it is, to seeing it in movies in general, like that.
Yeah, and
feeling
maybe
of,
that
like,
is it. Maybe it's something from
Yeah.
my childhood.
It's
I don't
It's
know.
just like it's two people that are falling in love, and there's just and it's
Well, I also
it's a
don't
really
like
great
love.
like montage to Van Morrison's Moon Dance. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
just showing
I did like the song.
their clear
That's good.
chemistry, and it's finally just blossoming.
right.
Right.
I think it.
And I got it.
And I
mean,
think you need that for
I will say it might be needed a little bit. I just feel like it didn't need to be that long is all.
I also think it has a lot to do with like it's a common cultural feeling in America that like sex is dirty and isn't.
Well, I don't feel that. So
I
it's
know,
not
like
that.
I know that you don't actually think that, but those things become
like in
ingrained.
your subconscious. Yeah.
It's in your subconscious. It's like
That could be it.
Like
Well, it's like the term we've like pornography is like it means disgusting and vile and all that kind of stuff. When it's you know what I mean, like that's
to
the,
most people. Or to a lot
No,
of
I mean
people.
like that's
what the
that's the
term-
definition.
Oh.
Like that's the definition of that
Oh, is it
word.
really?
Yeah. Whereas you know
Oh, I didn't know that.
before it was just
Yeah.
like triple X or adult or what
Yeah.
you know, and it's. the
I didn't
way
know that
they-
was the actual definition of
yeah,
it.
pornographic is a dirty word. It's like a
Oh.
idea that like
So of course, like Americans, that's what we call it. You know.
yeah,
Whatever.
and so it's like
Yeah, I
there's
didn't realize that.
Yeah, there's a lot of lots of places in the world, but America
Right.
definitely has very like an overwhelming sentiment about sex, and that we don't talk about it. You know,
But we
a
sure do put 10 minutes of it
well,
in
we
our
sure do
movies.
put it in a movie, and it's like, and that's the thing. That's why people, I think, especially people who had like that upbringing, it can be very hard to break out of that. Like,
Yeah,
this makes
and-
me a
and
little
that-
bit uncomfortable, even if
Right.
you don't want to be made uncomfortable. Sometimes things make you feel uncomfortable, even if you.
I
don't
mean,
want to
maybe
be
I
uncomfortable.
don't know that for me it's even like an uncomfortable thing. I think some of it just comes out of like not wanting to watch movies, and it's like too long. I think it was a great spot for a scene like that, but I just felt like it was too long. I don't know.
Nah, y'all should just kiss for about 10 seconds, and then we're gonna move on.
Yeah, we get it. You're in love.
There's also the little kid.
I understand you're in love. I don't need to see it on screen.
we
Thank
can skip
you.
all the love stuff. Thank
Right,
you.
exactly.
Oh, the Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Is there gonna be more kissing? Oh.
Is this a kissing book?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about with some movies.
Is this a love movie? No, it's a horror movie. There's like 3 minutes of making you care about these characters and their feelings for each other.
Okay, fine. Let me know when the heads roll. Some of the and to like kind of go a different direction is like the violence in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I like so much is that it's so unusual. Like it's not necessarily that David is mauling and clawing at people at the end. It's like the chaos it creates, and like these people are getting like smashed by cars and run over, and
Right.
like that stuff is like shocking, or you know, it's like very like you know, like
Right.
kind of hard to watch. Someone just get their head rolled over.
Yeah.
Like, just all.
That's
like,
true. It also goes back to like mass hysteria type stuff.
Yeah, and it's like it's like this other person is here, so everything just kind of everyone loses their
Right.
Mind. That's one of the things that I think, again, I'm going to bring it up again. Watch The Last of Us. The Last of Us does really well, is the panic that sets in.
Yeah.
And people, there's like planes crashing and stuff, and people like reacting to that. And it's just this stampede of people like trying to get away from this thing that they can't get away from because it's an illness, right?
Yeah.
So if you have it, you have it,
I know I've talked about it, but that to me is like the scariest stuff in films, like hordes of people that are not, they're acting with like their lizard brains.
Yeah.
That's to me is.
I love the mass hysteria type stuff.
Yeah, that's unsettling to me more than any like monster or.
What's because it's a real thing that happens. Like
Yeah.
people stampede. We are
Yeah.
panicky animals. Like people die because
Right.
people stampede.
Well, it's like, in Jaws, like when they're all running out and it's like people are getting run over, like.
Yeah.
There's this guy who almost drowns and like stuff like that is.
And stuff like that really happened at like Black Fridays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
That's why
people
Black
died at
Friday
Black
is so
Friday.
different nowadays.
Well, the reason that exit doors have to open out instead of pulling in is because of people in an emergency situation will panic and they'll press up against the door
Yeah.
and then you can't pull it open.
Yeah.
So like exit doors have to open out because they've had enough experience with this kind of panic to know, oh yeah, this is how you trap people in a building and they die if you don't have a door that,
Yeah.
people panic and that's scary. That is one of the good parts of this.
So overall, I think you hated Cocaine Bear,
With a passion.
and I loved it and find it super hilarious. I definitely recommend it, and I enjoyed. I guess enjoyed is the right word. American Werewolf in London. Like I said, I'm glad I've seen it.
Like you had a lot of positive things to say about
I
it.
guess that's true. I will say I was folding clothes to it. That's how I get through folding clothes and watching movies, because I'm doing two things I don't want to do, and it just kind of works out for itself. I did take a break and just watch the movie for like 20 minutes,
Hey.
Whew.
which means it did catch my interest.
Okay.
So there's that.
Thanks for giving it your full and undivided attention.
He took notes. That's all we can really ask.
He did take notes.
All right, so I guess that brings us to the end of our discussion this week about the movies we chose: Cocaine Bear and An American Werewolf in London. Next podcast, we're going to have a special guest again. Our newest employee, Jordan, is going to join us. And also next week, we're going to do a little bit of a different format, because Josh is going to pick a movie and Jordan is going to pick a movie, and I'm just going to have to watch those movies. So I'm a little nervous about that. We'll see how that goes. Jordan, if you want to go ahead and tell us what you've chosen.
I have chosen Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion.
Okay.
I don't know.
I've not seen it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen it a lot.
I
Yeah.
have to. I love that movie.
Well, that sounds like it could be. I've
I
seen
did not expect that.
like clips of it, and I think it could be something I would like. So that's not horrible.
It seems like something you would like.
Yeah.
I think so.
So hopefully I'll at least like one of them.
And Josh has seen it many times, so he
I love that
likes
movie.
it. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
So good.
It's a great movie.
okay.
One of my favorite comedies from the 90s,
Same.
easily. It's really
Okay.
it's really funny and sweet.
I like 90s comedies, so that should be good.
Oh, and I'm going to pick for Jordan and Aaron Once Upon a Time in the West.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
I've never seen it or heard of it, so
Is
it's fresh.
Okay.
It's a Western from 1968 with Charles Bronson, Jason Robards.
It's actually from 1968?
Yes.
Wow.
It's like 2 hours and 49 minutes. You're going to watch it.
I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there that it sounds like a movie I'm going to sleep through.
Do you like Westerns, Jordan?
I don't really have an opinion.
Okay.
I think I would enjoy it.
Okay. Have you seen it? Like,
No, I've
like,
never even heard of it, but I think I'll watch it and like it from
Okay.
what you guys said
It
about
has
it.
some really great lines. It's pure, like, just cinematic poetry.
I'm so excited for this.
Anyway, so Once Upon a Time in the West, it's about Charles
West.
Bronson. It's sort of a revenge film. It's
Charles Bronson's in it?
Yes, Charles Bronson.
Oh, I like Charles Bronson.
And Henry Fonda playing the villain. He's terrific.
I only know Jane Fonda.
They're first cousins.
Are they really?
No.
What?
I mean,
I was like, dang, look at him come with the movie
I
trivia.
was so ready for
great.
you to just say random nonsense.
That is perfect.
That's great.
Claudia Cardinale she's like a woman coming back from, her family's been murdered and she's coming to, anyway, you just have to watch it. It's
Obviously, you're making me.
It's a stunning film. It's like my number 8 movie of all time.
Usually when you say that, I do not like them.
I know.
Yeah.
So
That's why the look of joy has appeared.
That's
I
true.
get to talk about one of my favorite movies.
That's true. I just
I
hope
get to
I
watch
like
it again.
Romeo and Michelle. That way, at least I'm
At
watching
least you
one
get
movie.
Romeo and Michelle. You're gonna love Romeo and Michelle.
You will.
good.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. There's no way I can't conceive of a world where you do not enjoy Romeo and Michelle.
Yeah, me either.
It's a really fun movie.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to have a good movie and
Also,
then a
I
Western.
miss seeing Mira Sorvino in movies. She's really good.
I don't know who that is.
Anyway, yeah, she was in a lot of stuff there in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And
Okay.
she won an Oscar.
For what?
Mighty Aphrodite.
Never heard of
The
it.
Allen movie, 95.
What's another movie she's in?
Romeo and Michelle. Mimic. Mimic's a fun creature flick.
Never seen that one.
It's Guillermo del Toro's first American film.
Oh,
It's about giant cockroaches in New York
Oh.
subways.
okay.
Very gooey.
Oh,
It's a lot of good. It's a
Like-
good combination
like
of
some goo.
it's a good combination of practical and CG effects too.
okay.
It's a good movie.
So, for next time, we are going to watch Romeo and Michelle's high school reunion and a Western.
Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West.
Oh,
You show
yes.
respect, sir.
That was a lot of words, okay? I don't know how you think I'm going to remember that.
Maybe the greatest living director, like the greatest director who ever lived.
Okay.
Maybe.
Well, so join us next time, and Jordan as well will be here, and we will discuss those movies. But until then, I'm Aaron,
I'm Josh.
and this has been The Real Opposites.